A nationwide steel strike, a war overseas, and a president who says, "Fine, I'll just take the steel mills." What happens when a president tries to seize an entire industry with one executive order? Today, on 99 Rights Online, we're breaking down the Supreme Court case that defined the limits of presidential power, and started with a looming steel strike during the Korean War. Welcome to Youngstown versus Sawyer. Our story begins in 1952. The steel industry and its workers were locked in a bitter labor dispute. Negotiations collapsed, and a nationwide steel mill strike was set to begin. But steel was essential for weapons, vehicles, and military supplies. So the president issued Executive Order 340, directing the Secretary of Commerce, Charles Sawyer, to seize and operate most of the nation's steel mills. The administration argued the seizure was necessary to prevent a national catastrophe and protect the war effort. The steel companies sued immediately. They argued that nothing in the Constitution or federal statutes authorized the president to take private property. The district court agreed and issued an injunction. But the Court of Appeals paused that order, and the Supreme Court stepped in. The president had no authority to seize the steel mills. No statute backed him. Not the Defense Production Act, not the Selective Service Act. And Congress had already rejected seizure as a tool for handling labor disputes in the Taft-Hartley Act. The court explained that the president's power must come from Congress or the Constitution, and neither source allowed him to make law by executive order. Seizing private property was a legislative act, and Article 1 gives that power to Congress alone. The court's message was blunt. The president had no power to seize the mills. Executive orders can't make law. Taking private property is Congress's job, not the president's. Justice Jackson delivered his famous three-tier framework for evaluating presidential power, concluding the president was at his lowest ebb because Congress had rejected the very authority he claimed. So why does this matter today? Because Youngstown remains the gold standard for evaluating presidential power in emergencies. Youngstown still shapes how we judge presidential power, especially in crises. It's the guardrail that protects both national security and personal freedom. A reminder that even in emergencies, the Constitution stays in the driver's seat. And that's why Youngstown still matters. It's the case that keeps presidential power in check, protects individual liberty, and makes sure no leader can outrun the Constitution when the pressure is on. Thanks for watching. This was 99 Rights Online, where law gets loud, clear, and viral. Subscribe for justice that hits different. Because justice isn't just for lawyers, it's for everyone.